Hey y'all. Well, I'm back with some more records and other lovely items that you may or may not be interested in. It's been another couple weeks again, but now I'm off for the whole month of December for Christmas. So I will have plenty of time to come on here and maybe even have two videos a week or every 2 weeks. Um, hey, there's Morty. Hi, Morty. Anyway, um, I'm back with some more records and some stuff that I found over the last couple of weeks, um, and we'll get to that in a second. Cheers, y'all. Kind of celebrating my time off from work now, and we'll just get right to the records. Uh, Here we have Gunfighter Ballads and trail songs, not trial, from Marty Robbins. Well, there may have been a trial after the gun blazing battle that might have happened by the gunfighter ballads, after they rode the trail, robbed the bank, and well, anyway, we have to get all into that. I bought this because I didn't know if I had it, and here I discovered I already have it somewhere. So if somebody's looking for Nancy Sinatra, how does that grab you? I now have two copies of this. And as you all know, this is Frank Sinatra's daughter. Um, she had more than several albums out back in the 60s and early 70s. She also had a little stint in Playboy magazine. And that was after she got she was way older. It was I don't know when did that Playboy come out? It must have been in the 90s or even the 2000s. I can't remember, but she was already an old lady, but she still was a nice looking person, and she has a nice voice too. Uh, Next we have Nick Drake, "Made to Love Magic." And if you don't, some people like Nick Drake. You either like him or you hate him. He's one of those types because his music is very dark, like, because apparently he had a lot of issues with himself. And if I remember right, I believe he died from uh, an overdose or alcohol or a combination of the two. I can't exactly recall. It's been so long since I've watched a documentary on him. Um, a couple of years ago, and this is just it's a really good album, and it comes with a booklet with some of his history in it. Nick Drake, "Made to Love Magic," and it has some of his handwritten song lyrics inside of there. Uh, and like I said, his little short biography on him. He only did three studio album, but they have been finding like missing recordings and things like that, and putting them on albums. Even his mom, they even put a music album of his mom's music out in the last few years, which is where he got a lot of his inspiration on his style, I guess they say. They say, and here we have Ozzy Osbourne, "No Rest for the Wicked." I don't really need to go into much about this because there's plenty of everybody knows who Ozzy Osbourne is and Black Sabbath, and there's a new show on the History Channel where he's traveling around with his son Jack, and they're going to various locations and learning, or he's giving his father a tour of U.S. landmarks and various things like that. I haven't watched the episode yet, but I'm hoping I can get around to watching that because I enjoy those, not only because of it's humorous to watch him because he seems clueless a lot. I hate to say that, but you all know, and plus it just looks like a fun show. And here we have a Pearl Jam album, and this is a reissue, I believe. This only has about 2 songs I like off of it. I picked it up because I was like, hey, I don't think I've ever heard this Pearl Jam record before. And it also comes with a really thick booklet of photographs, and I think I had that upside down, and song lyrics. The rest of it I don't really care for. Anyway, and I just picked this up. I don't have a Pretenders record, so I picked up Pretenders Learning to Crawl, because I remember hearing Middle of the Road and Back on the Chain Gang. And what's the other one? My City Is Gone. I remember the background music to that My City Is Gone tune. And this is a pretty good record. I'm glad I picked it up. I don't think I'll get any more Pretenders records. I think this is probably the only one I will get. Unless you guys can recommend something from them, because I don't really know their music. And here we have, I picked up another Sharon Jones. It's a Holiday Soul Party. It's a Christmas album. Now, normally I don't buy into Christmas and the whole thing behind it, and that's all I'll say about that. But I like Sharon Jones, and I watched a video on YouTube called Tiny Desk Concerts. I don't know if you've watched any of those. I think it's just called Tiny Desk Concerts. You can look it up, and they have all kinds of people usually come on there and play, usually acoustically. And I watched the video to this. It's about 15 minutes long, but it's really good. I really like this. Their soulful renditions of these holiday tunes, like Silent Night and songs like that. And I haven't even opened this yet. I had to get this one on Amazon. I did see it at our record store, I think last year, or a while back. Can't remember if it was last year, but I didn't pick it up then for whatever reason. And actually, I had to go back and get it on Amazon. Anyway, limited edition green vinyl. I don't think I need to open that, or unless you really want me to, I can. If I can get it open here. Do one of these things. Have you ever seen anybody do this? It sort of creates a friction on the plastic wrapper, and it will heat it up, and it will actually open the record better if it's one of those that's, you know, you just can't get your fingernail in there or something. Yeah. Didn't work on that part. Try this again. It does help, though. I know I've seen it work. You're probably saying, oh, this guy's an idiot now. It didn't even work the first time he tried it. It's heating up my leg anyway. There we go. Okay. Okay. And here's the, okay, it is on a clear greenish holiday vinyl. we went through a lot of work to get that one open, didn't we? And it has the download card. If anybody is also interested in any of these download cards, I don't use any of them. I got a whole ton of these things in my records. You know, I'll just mail them to you. You don't have to trade for them. You don't have to send me any money or anything. Whenever I can get around to it, I will mail it to you. And I hate saying I'll mail something, because I'm within the last year or two, I'm really behind on mailing people things that I say I'm going to. Need another drink. And next we're going to get to other items, other antiques or vintage stuff, or even it doesn't have to be vintage stuff that I found. The first thing, which way do I go? Wait, which one am I point? Got to point this way. There's a bike right here. You see it? This is a 1972 Tomos portable folding bike, and it was made in Yugoslavia, and it's in really good shape. There's the back of it, got a little bike rack for its for its for its age. It's in really good shape. I think it probably sat in somebody's garage or somewhere, and they just never took it out because look, it looks brand new, and it's from 1972. The label there is worn off, but that's about it. And there's Morty. Don't poke a hole in the wheels, Morty. He's got very sharp claws on him. Anyway, but I just thought it was neat. It folds in half. You pull a little pin out. The handlebars will, you push a lever and it will go down. And the seat also does the same thing. And the light, I haven't really checked to see if that works yet, but I just like to see if the looks of it anyway. And I found it at the shop where I go, the antique mall, or we both did, and there's this booth there, and like 3 times within the last year and a half, I would say, I've came across these vintage bikes there, and they're all in this incredible, like, unridden state. So I'm wondering if the booth owner used to be a bike shop owner, or perhaps they were a collector themselves and they just kind of stashed them away and never rode them out in the elements or left them outdoors. And today we were this close, we were 5 minutes from getting another one, which was there was a bright green one and a bright orange one in a different booth, but they were Italian made. I don't remember what they were called, but they looked similar to this one, but they were made in Italy. But somebody came in and bought them up 5 minutes before me, which is probably a good thing because these bicycles are starting to pile up around here now too. Now we'll get off that subject. Look at a couple little items here. I just thought they were interesting. I also have a knife collection somewhere and all my stuff. And I found these little antique scalpels. I didn't look up too much about them. This one has a maker on it, but it has a bone handle. Surgeon scalpels, or your local doctor or whoever that went around visiting your home and bringing you various potions and mercuries to poison you with and stuff, would come by your place and medicate you up and maybe slash you open to get out the diseases that are in your veins there. And the other one is this this one. I don't know how old it is, but it's got a antler handle. It appears to be antler. There's no maker on it, but it's also a little scalpel. That looks like an antler handle to me, and it looks to be, this could be in the 1800s somewhere. But those are interesting to me, you know. And next, I don't know why I got this. I might put it in a frame or something. This is a Big Chief writing tablet, and we used to have these when I was in grade school. And I do believe this is an older one because there's no barcode anywhere on it. On the newer ones, that they are remaking these now, and there's a barcode where they scan it with the thingy. This doesn't have that, and it says 25 cents and 2/39 there. I'm not sure if that's a year. I don't really think so, because this looks in too good a shape to be 1939. I'm thinking this is probably in the late. This could be the 70s or even the 80s, before they started using those scanners. But 25 cents is pretty cheap, and I just thought that was a little neat thing to show y'all. And lastly, you all know I'm into typewriters and such. Nope, let's wait on that one. I got something to show you before that. I don't know why I want to show them in this order, but in my mind I was like, I want to show them this stick before we don't knock the bike down in the meantime. Oh, there we go. We got Houston, we have a problem. Okay, I found this stick. Now it just looks like a regular old stick, right? But there's all kinds of writing all over it, and a thingy up here. It's like a walking stick, and somebody made this. This isn't an antique, but you've seen me show Tonto and the Lone Ranger stuff and some of my other videos, but I just thought this was interesting. Somebody went through all the trouble of making, I don't know if you can see that, it says the Texas Rangers on there, and there's the Texas flag was on there, and there's a star on the end here. It's like 3D. Ooh, ooh. Anyway, and it has all kinds of stuff written on it. Some of them are names, and I'm assuming that they were Texas Rangers. But up here it says, first organized by Austin as long-ranging companies to protect the frontier Apaches. I don't know what that's supposed to be. The oldest state law enforcement agency in the U.S. Comanches. Abner Kayendall, WMA Bigfoot Wallace, None Tougher, Sam Lucky P.H. Bell, John Tumlin's son, Jack Hayes fought at Enchanted Rock and Bandera Pass. Ben Highsmith died at Bloody Battle of Bandera Pass. Captain D.B. Freyer, Jack Duncan, bunch of people's names. Scott Cooley outshot John Worley. Captain John Strip, 4 W.M. Derrick, Henry and Kip Baltimore, gun hands. Ed Neal, Sambaba, W.J. Sullivan, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff written or burned. It looks like maybe it was burned into this stick here, and it just scrolls all the way around it. I just thought it was a really neat stick. I didn't pay very much for it. And that's the Texas Rangers big old stick there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Just sit in the corner like a one of these days I might need it to walk when I'm old and feeble, pooping in my pants and whatnot, or I can use it for a fishing pole perhaps, but I don't think it's flexible enough for that. Anyway, we'll get off of that stick. And we almost lost the Telmos bicycle earlier. Lastly, you all know I'm into typewriters also, and I just found this today. Nothing very fancy, but oh, it's a Smith Corona Silent typewriter. They started making these Silents around 1930, but they looked a little different than this. This one's early 50s because you can tell by the body style. Mainly see all the rounded curves, kind of like your 50s automobiles. And these were kind of built similarly. This one's American made in the USA. Smith Corona, about 1953 Silent. This is a very sturdy typewriter, as you can imagine. How stuff was made back then. There's very little. There's plastic on it, but not too much. If you ever remember those sounds. There's the all the inner workings in there. Now, if you can you see it right there? You see that chrome or metal wheel, and it looks like it has a string in the middle. That's the whole heart of one of these old machines. If that string breaks, the whole thing doesn't work. Uh, but you can replace those with fishing line and things like that. This one still has its string intact and it's all working. Sometimes this one I haven't really cleaned or anything yet since I just got it today, but it doesn't need much cleaning. Sometimes in other typewriters that I found from like the early to late 1900s, like mid 1900s. I remember which one it was. I think it was in 1912 or 13. All over one of them, I have a couple. A spider fell out of it. An old dried up spider, so from 100 years ago or something. But sometimes I find stuff like that inside of them, and I'm always worried about finding a whole nest, a whole nest of black widows in there or something. But usually I don't. Anyway, that's the old typewriter. And that's it. Colin, over and out. Hope you have happy holidays coming up. Weirdos unite.